Hey, this is Mrs. D, and last time we were looking at this, which is a list of terrible passwords. So we wanted to use that in our multi-page app. And so in order to take this data, what we want to do is we want to figure out how to get this data into code.org. So if we look at this, it says how to create and use a custom data set in AppLab. So step one is put the data into a spreadsheet. We want to save it as a CSV file. That's a comma separated values file. Then we want to open your AppLab project, click on the data tab in the left corner, enter a name for your data set, click add, and then we want to import the CSV. And then, yeah, that seems pretty straightforward. All right, so we are in Wikipedia, and the article is called List of the Most Common Passwords. Part of it was gotten from NordPass, and these all came from different points. So all of that is listed at the bottom of the article. So what I want to do is I want to copy all of this into a Google spreadsheet. So that's what I'm going to do first. I've got a lovely blank spreadsheet right here for it. And then we'll call it terrible, lousy passwords. Okay. Now I want to export it as a CSV. So in download down under comma separated values, we would download it. And then it shows up down here. All right, so we have saved it as CSV file. Now we need to open the AppLab project and click on the data in the left corner. All right, here we are at the 102nd remix of the app. All right, so I'm going to click data. And then let's go back and see what code.org has to say. So it says open your AppLab project, click on the data tab in the top left corner. We did that. Enter a name for your data set and click add. All right, so we are going to call this terrible, lousy passwords. Click add. And then we need to go back and look at the next instruction. On the next screen, choose import CSV. And here we are. Yes, overwrite. All right, so now we have it. Anything else we have to do? If you don't want to use Excel, you can instead build your own data set right from the AppLab. Okay, and you can just write a table. Okay, we don't need to do that. So let's get back into the AppLab. All right, we're in the environment, and I've got my data. A bunch of terrible, lousy passwords. So how are we going to use this? What we're going to want to do is we're going to want to import one or more of these columns. And to do that, we're going to click over to the data. We're going to use get column. There's a bunch of these that we can use. They get kind of complicated, but get column basically goes into our data and it imports a column. So we could choose one of these years depending on what we wanted. We could get that column and then we could fill up a variable with that information. The other thing we can do then is we can use random number. Where's random number? Right here. And we could use the length of the list to randomly select a couple of things. We could run it a few times. And then on our page down here, we could add a second box and say, these passwords are a terrible idea. Okay, so let's get started. So what I want to do is I want another variable, and it's going to be a list. So let's call this bad password, and let's kind of look at how this works. So I can have bad password, and I can equals, and then I want to go to the data column. I want to do get column from my table, and then if we go to blocks, now this is one of the commands that I definitely suggest you use, the drop down right here. For some reason, when you use this, if you type it in perfectly, it sometimes doesn't connect. So I definitely suggest that you use the get column with your variable and you use the drop down. So I want to choose it doesn't really matter which one. So let's just randomly choose 2014. And then, so very bad password is defined but not called in your program. So then let's just console log it bottom, I guess. And again, we're going to delete those quotes, and we're just going to use the word bad password instead. So as a reminder, if we have the quotes there, it's just going to say the word. Instead, we want to print the whole variable, so we're going to console log. Now, hypothesis, it's going to show us a bunch of data. And there it is. So the data's there, it's filled in. We did not use brackets for this data. So now the second thing we want to do is we want to make a couple of random versions of this, and we want to put it into our design. So first, let's add in the name age page. Let's add a second text area. And then let's make the background color kind of red. Be like, no, don't do this. Bright red. That means we should change this background color because they do not go together. Nope. All the way over, please. All right, so then if we go back here, then let's check the text color just to see how it looks. And that looks terrible. So 1, I'm going to change it, I think, to white. It's a little bit better. And then let's bring up the font size. I think we remembered last time that 19 was a good sized font. Yeah, that looks. All right, so we don't want anything in there right now. But when we run it, we want something in there. So let's look at the code. So when we click the name page submit button, find that one. When we click name page submit, we want to put some text in here. So there's some stuff going to text output, right? So we're setting text to text output, and that's going in. So we need to come up with a name for this. So we'll call it text output 2. And then what we want to do is we want to set some text there, and we want to use the random number generator and that get column to say some bad passwords. So let's start with the UI controls, and we're going to set the text. Oh, that's get text. Pay attention. So we're going to set the text, and this time it's going to be text output 2. And then to test, let's just put something there. Please avoid terrible passwords like. So that'll be our test. So we click run. I have to do all this stuff first. See, we're still printing our list from last time. Then we're going to put on our name and our age group. I'm going to hit submit. And I misspelled like. Nobody told me. All right, so this works well. And so now I just want to come up with another variable to collect those random passwords that we don't want them to use. So I'm going to go to text. All right, so now I'm going to use that list feature again. So now it's going to be an empty list, just like password list. So this is bad password output. So when we get down here, and let's reset it so we can see the IDs. We want to do name page submit, so we're right there. And we want to add this variable, bad password output, down to name page submit. So And okay, so then it went away. So that means that I spelled it correctly with the capitals. All right, so bad password output equals, and then how do I want this to work? Go to math, random number. So we're going to go 0 because our list always starts with 0. And then we're going to do a command, and that's going to be a length, which is a string command. So if we go down to this, list length, put that in. We want to do list length -1. The reason why is because it's starting with 0, right? So we want, I believe this is called bad password list. And I'm going to put parentheses around it so we keep all this information together. What is it saying to me? Missing semicolon. Yes, I know. So random number. And so all of that has to go inside another another set of brackets. So we want to say bad password. Then we'll do a bracket, wrong bracket, random number 1, and then we need another bracket back here, wrong bracket. So we'll do a comma, and then I'm going to just copy this and paste it again, but I don't want to do that. I want to test it first. So this should read to the computer like I'm giving it a list and an index number. The index number happens to be a random number. If this doesn't work, we'll go back to just a regular index number. So let's do this real quick. All right, we've got a variable. This is bad password list. All right, so this is probably just really clumsy wording. So let's, well, first let's try one thing. Let's try bad password. Take that down to there, and let's just do bad password 0. So when we output bad password before, the first one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now we're putting it here, and we're going to add it. We're going to put bad password output as the last thing down here. All right, so let's try it again. Hypothesis is it's going to give us one bad password right there. All right, and there we go. So we got it. We got it, and we got one password. So it's technically functioning right now. We don't have to go any further. But I would like to figure out a good way to get bad password output to be more than one thing. So to start, let's just do a few variables. 1. Why not? Okay, so we have 3 randoms, and we're getting this column up here. So I think I can just put in the equals right now. Yes, I see you, red square. All right, so now we're going to do the brackets, just like last time. Oh, wait, I don't think I want a bracket. I want just one number. So we will go back to math. Drag in. We're going to go random number 0. Bad password. Oh, misspelling. So now what does it say? Random one is defined, but it's not called in your program. That's cool. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it to the other 2. And I'm definitely rolling the dice by doing this because if this is bad coding, I'm going to have to fix it 3 times. All right, so now let's console log random 1, 2. Let's console log random. All right, so at this point, everything should work. And here, 7, 3, 24. Okay, so they're there. So now we can comment this out because we know that the randoms are there. And then bad password, do random 1. comma, and then we'll copy and paste this 2 more times. The last comma. All right. Yep, please avoid terrible passwords like 11111, Mustang, and Michael. All right, so that works. We have pulled data in. We've imported all of our own data. We got it from Wikipedia. In our code, we used the get column right here. We used get column to choose one of the columns from our data, and we filled up a whole list with it. Then we made an output to collect some of those things, and then we made 3 random numbers, which is really cool. I love random numbers. It just really helps choose things. So we have the 3 random numbers, and those 3 random numbers are choosing 3 random. They're an important way to manage complexity because they're choosing 3 random, terrible, lousy passwords, and they're putting them down there. The only thing I don't like is that, well, there's 2 things I don't like. The font size is different between these 2, which is just really annoying. And then the formatting here is kind of terrible. So what you would have to do to make this better, and I don't want to go into it right now, is you would either change the font size or do a return. You'd have to find a way to do the JavaScript return so that each of these passwords shows up on its own line. And then maybe I would take out the comma as well. All right, we did everything we set out to do.